Hello, my friends. How you doing today? I have been thinking a lot since Tuesday. I think about it all the time anyway, but when we talked about, I shared the analogy of you can set a table, but you can't make people come eat, right? We can give all the best advice. We can do all the right things. We can try to be what everybody needs us to be, but we can't make people appreciate that. We can't make them take our advice. We can't make them see the logic and the sense behind our own opinions and views, right? And I've had this topic as a follow-up in mind, but I'm especially leaning into it today as I'm feeling very, very triggered by some things that I've read on social media. Today happens to be a day, as the last several have been, where there's a lot of talk going on about race and about riots and about what's real and what isn't and what we should be doing and all these things, right? And I looked at or read this one interaction by two people, and I am trying to think of how I can, because I'm so triggered right now. I don't want to send an emotionally charged message. I want to sort of be calm, but I want to talk about it today because I want to talk about it when I'm feeling it and when I'm leaning into it. And I'll back up and I'll tell you what I want to tell you, and then I'll relate it to the situation. So what I want to say is, so we've accepted that our worth and our value is not determined by how many people or who decides to come and eat the meal that we've prepared at the table that we've set, right? But that doesn't mean that when we see these people that we love and we've offered this advice and we see something different and something better and we want that for them and they don't come take it, that doesn't mean that they stop mattering to us, right? It doesn't mean that we stop worrying. It doesn't mean that all of a sudden, that we're just like, well, fine, And so what I do in those situations is I trust them. I trust them and their process, that we don't all start out. I think about where I was maybe 6 years ago and where I am now. And it's not like there's something somebody could have said or told me that would have fast forwarded that 6 years of progress, right? I had to go through these experiences to become the person I am. There's no skipping button, right? We can make it easier. We can try to help and be there and facilitate, but we each go through our own process and our own timing. And us wanting other people to be where we are, to see things the way that we do, there's no button for that. There's no skipping their own experience. And we have to trust and lean into their experience, that they are going to learn and grow and become whoever they are meant to become in whatever way they are meant to become it, right? Our worrying and our trying to force only creates unnecessary suffering within us. It does not make anything better, right? Me worrying about people, me being stressed and feeling anxiety about the choices they're making, if I feed into that, that's going to happen. I'm going to feel that emotion. But if I lean into that, if I lean into the worry and I feed it with my thoughts and my energy, then all I'm doing is now creating suffering for myself, and I am doing nothing for the person I am worried about, right? So why I'm leaning into this today is, I saw this exchange and these posts, and one woman was really offended and the other woman was responding very, very thoughtfully and compassionately, but firm in her stance. And this other woman was so mad and was so offended. And I just want her to see, I get it. I've been her, and I want her to see so much. And she is a metaphor for all the people that are really triggering me right now. I want them to see the way that because I see how destructive the behaviors that attitude create, right? I see how hurtful it is. And yet, even in that, I have to trust her process. I have to trust that she is going to learn and grow and develop through her own experience. And I am sure as heck going to keep setting the table, right? I'm going to keep speaking. I'm going to keep compassionately and empathetically and lovingly sending out messages. But I am not going to let her inability or anyone else's inability to hear me, or not even inability, but choice to not. I'm not going to let that consume me, right? That's what I'm working on. That's the ideal. And then if I am so angry that she isn't listening to me, I have to pause and back up and put on my empathy jumpsuit and start thinking like, am I listening to her? I may have been where she's been. I may have gone through it. I may have come out the other side and with the beliefs and values and ideals that I have now. But she is not there, and I need to be able to hear her. It doesn't mean I have to agree, but it does mean that I have to listen. Because if I ever want anybody to hear me, if I ever want anybody to listen to me, and I am unwilling to see their perspective and where they're coming from, whether I agree with it or not, how can I expect them to do the same for me, right? What makes my opinions and who I am more valuable than her opinions and who she is, right? So anyway, deep breaths. And it comes back to when I did my coach's training, the thing that we learned that was the hardest thing for me to learn, or maybe the most, I don't know if hard is the right word, but one of the pillars that this program I was taking was built on is that people are naturally creative, resourceful, and whole. No one is broken. No one needs to be fixed. We all have within us everything we need to become whomever we want to become. And we just need people to listen to us and see us and to make the space for us to do that. And sometimes we have to go visit somebody else's table, right? Sometimes we have to go sit down and eat the meal that somebody else has prepared for us. And other times we get to do it on our own. And as the person who's created the table and set the, sorry, I don't know if this metaphor isn't getting old, but as the person who has created this meal, I have to be okay, and I have to trust, and I have to love whether or not people are coming to eat. So, okay, that is my message for you today. I love you all deeply and sincerely, and I see you, and I honor who you are, where you are in this moment. Okay, talk to you next time.